Hey, boys and girls. Today we're reading Chapter 7 Secrets and Spies. I learned a lot during that week before Christmas vacation. I learned about the science fair and the grand prize. I learned that Mr. Lenny Cordo did not work for a circus. I learned that I wanted to win that Blentinium 12 computer. I learned that sometimes my dad can be a KIA DIA. I learned that about the scientific method. And I learned that just because you're in third grade, it doesn't mean you can't read some long words. Like electromagnets. That's the fancy name for the kind of magnets you make with wire and iron and electricity. That's something else I learned. Because the rest of the week before Christmas, I read all I could about magnets. Another thing I learned is that a know it all can't really be a know it all. Nobody can know everything. There's too much. If you did know everything, your head would explode or something. But I guess nobody ever told that to Kevin and Marcia. They really wanted to know everything, all the time. But there was something they didn't know, and they knew they didn't know it. They didn't know what my science fair project was. At first, Kevin tried to pretend he didn't care. The day before vacation, we had to turn in our permission slips. Miss Snavin told us to bring them to her desk. I stood up, and Kevin got in line behind me. I could tell he did it on purpose. Kevin tapped me on the shoulder. When I turned around, he gave me this fake smile and said, "So, Jake, what are you doing your project on?" I said, "I don't think I want to tell anybody." He said, "Why not? It doesn't matter if people know. I'm doing mine on ants." Kevin stared at me with his pale blue eyes. He didn't blink. He was waiting for me to tell, especially since he had just told me what his project was. But I just smiled and nodded. I said, "Ants. Yeah, ants are cool." And then I turned away because I had to hand my slip to Miss Snavin. Kevin followed me back to my table. "So what's your project, Jake?" I said, "I'm still kind of thinking about it." Kevin said, "So what is it? What are you thinking about?" I said, "I'll show you at the science fair." Kevin pressed his lips together and made a mad face. Then he walked back to his own table. "You see, I'm a good secret keeper. 2 years ago, Abby broke a little china statue my mom had on a shelf. Mom loved it because she said it looked like Abby. That's why Abby loved it too. One day, Abby pushed a chair over to the shelf and she took it down. When she started playing with it, the head broke off. Abby brought it to me. She was crying. She was afraid she would get in big trouble. I used some white glue to put the head back on. I was very careful. You couldn't even tell it was broken. I put it back on the shelf, and I promised I would keep a secret. And I did. Of course, about a week later, Abby told Mom about the statue herself. And Mom wasn't even mad. Even so, I kept the secret. And then there was a time a friend of mine was at the YMC camp with me. In the middle of the night, he woke me up. He whispered, "Jake, I I wet my bed. What should I do?" That's the kind of thing a kid can get a bad nickname for. So I helped him get the sheet off his bunk. It was a plastic mattress, so that was good. I got my extra sheet out of my trunk and we put it on the mattress. Then we stuck the wet sheet under his bed and went back to sleep. No one ever found out, and I never told. And don't even try to guess which friend it was because I'm not telling ever. It's a secret. So I decided my science fair project was going to be a secret too. Why tell anybody, especially Kevin Young? And Marcia, she never asked. She just snooped. And she was lousy at it. It was like I had radar. I could always tell when Marcia was trying to spy on me. So I let her see me work, and I let Kevin see me too. It was during our library period on the last day before vacation. I let Marcia see me check out a book on snakes. Then I let Kevin see me looking at stuff about sharks in the encyclopedia. Then I used Encarta to look up an article about weasels, and I left it on the computer screen a long time. I even took some notes, and Marcia saw me. Then, 10 minutes later, when Kevin was waiting at the printer, I printed out this article about rodents with a big picture of a rat. When I went to get it, Kevin handed it to me with a smile, and I smiled back. Near the end of library time, oops, I saw Kevin and Marcia whispering together. They looked like they were arguing. Kevin probably thought my project was about rats and sharks, and Marcia probably thought I was studying snakes and weasels. They didn't get my joke. What I did was study them. and I had discovered that Kevin reminded me of a cross between a shark and a rat, and Marcia was like a snake and a weasel. What they didn't know was that in the bottom of my backpack, down in a safe, dark place, I had 3 great books, all about magnets, magnets you can make, and winning science fair projects. And those 3 books were enough to help me win my new computer. Because the best thing I learned that week before vacation was this: to be a good know it all, you don't have to know what anybody else is doing, and you don't need to know everything. You just have to know enough. Plus, it helps if you have a big drawer full of junk. Okay, that's the end of chapter 7. And we are in today for your work. And today for your work, you're going to Jake Drake Know It All, your work you've been completing, and you are going to go to, we did this one last time, to slide 16. So day 9 assignment. After listening to chapter 7, look at slide 17 for examples of how to do a slide 18 for synonyms of the underlined words. Okay, so slide 17 is an example. This is not what you're completing. This is an example. So sophisticated synonyms. Your directions state below are sentences from chapter 7. On the 3 blank lines below each sentence, write 3 synonyms. That means words that are the same for the underlined word. On the line below that, rewrite each sentence, replacing the underlined word with the synonym of your choice. So number 1 says, and I learned that just because you're in 3rd grade, it doesn't mean you can't read long words. So 3 synonyms for long are lengthy, immense, and massive. If I don't know a synonym, I can go to Google and look up synonyms for long. And then it gives me lengthy, extended, prolonged, long-lasting. So this is not cheating. This is helping you. If you can't think of a synonym, go to Google to help you think of a synonym. Then it has number 2, the day before vacation, we had to turn in our permission slips. So synonym for turn in, submit, relinquish, hand in. And then they rewrote the sentence. The day before vacation, we had to submit our permission slips. They picked 1 synonym. So that's what you're going to do here. Kevin pressed his lips together and made a mad face. So I already know 1 synonym for mad. I bet you do too. Angry. So I could go ahead and type angry right here. Angry. And then you can type 2 right here. And then I would type my new sentence. After I type 2 more, I would say Kevin pressed his lips together and made an angry face. That's what you're doing today. You're writing synonyms, 3 synonyms. Remember, if you don't know a synonym for the underlined word, you can look it up. If you have any questions, please email me. I hope you'll have a great day.